up, Square Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos. And today we're going to be talking about what you can expect out of pre-release and then moving into set 14, of course, coming out in the next couple of weeks or so. So if you're lucky enough to have a local shop that's going to be supporting pre-release this weekend, you're obviously going to go, you're going to pay your entry, you're going to get 6 packs to construct a 40-card deck and play throughout the tournament in a best-of-1 format. Now, I've been looking at set 14, and it's a little difficult, in my opinion, to kind of narrow down the best approach to the set itself. So I tried coming up with like a top 5 best leader or like top 3 best leaders that you can use out of the set, but there's so much red tape with them. It's like it's kind of hard to pick and choose which one is the best option for you to go with. In set 13, there were a lot of leaders that, yes, they relied on their archetype specific stuff, but they were also pretty generically good. Like in set 13 pre-release, I used the Bardock leader, and he's just inherently 15k double strike on the back, so that's never bad, right? And I was just lucky enough where I pulled enough of the Bardock's crew guys to benefit off of the free playability of the 1-drop Red Saiyan. But when it comes to pre-release, because the picks are random and you don't really get a lot of your cards to support a specific archetype unless you're lucky enough to do so, you kind of have to look at what's just good on a generic level. And set 14 is very different because there's not a lot of that. Set 14 is introducing the Spirit Boost mechanic, which is going to be very heavily reliant on a Unison. And there's a possibility that you don't pull a Unison in your packs. I mean, it's very rare that you won't because there are your SR variants of Unisons, but there are also like the watered down versions of the Unisons in the set. Like for green, for example, like you have the Great Saiyaman SR Unison, but you also have the Babidi Unison for the Majin Buu deck that you might be able to pull. And that's one, like a lesser version of a Unison that you can get out of the packs and be able to utilize the Spirit Boost mechanic. But there's nothing that really jumps off the page when it comes to just generic playability, in my opinion. So I revisited the set and I looked at all the leaders as a whole, and I guess the 3 best leaders that you can use, in my opinion, are going to be either the black Sin Shenron leader, the green Majin Buu leader, and then I guess your third option is like, interchangeable depending on which, cards you pull. You can use U7 Gohan or Videl. So if we look at these leaders and under a microscope and we just try to determine their genericness, if that's even a word, the reason I think the Black Sin Shenron leader is the best is because you don't necessarily have to play within the archetype. Yes, you do get bonuses for leaning in and having, Black Shadow Dragon extra cards that you can activate off of a leader skill, absolutely, but essentially, plain piece of paper, it's a 10k blocker on the front, and then when he awakens, he's a 15k attacker that gets an extra 5k for that turn, and at the end of the turn restands. So you can use it aggressively and defensively. You do have the blocking skill on a leader, which is really interesting if you wanted to protect your board. But that extra 5k, making it a 20k swing, is what I think is going to put it over the top of most of your leaders in the pool, because that's just a good generic effect that's going to help promote aggression. And if you're able to pull a nice, complement of black cards, which might be hard because they are the fewest available cards in the set always, it might help you, pull that off. So I think generically speaking, Sin Shenron might be the best leader to use in a sealed tournament because you don't necessarily have to play it with the archetype to do well with it, if that makes any sense. And then the reason I rank Majin Buu number 2 is because, you definitely want to try to pull as much of the Majin Buu stuff as possible because that's where you're going to get your full benefits from, especially the Spirit Boost mechanic. But generically, I mean, he's going to self-awaken and he's going to draw you a ton of cards because when he swings, when he attacks, basically, you're going to take a life, put it underneath him, draw 2 cards. So you're self-awakening and you're also seeing 2 new cards, and that's every time he attacks. And then on the backside, you'll be able to send those cards underneath him, to get that extra 5k. Again, you'll see that theme here with these 2 leaders is that there's a way of you getting an extra 5k on that attack, making it a 20k instead of a 15. So those are just the two reasons why I think those might be your go-to. Depending on what you pull, of course. I mean, you could get lucky and pull, you know, all of the blue stuff for Hirudegarn or Trunks, and you might want to go that route. But I think generically speaking, if you're looking at the odds, you're looking at pull rates, especially with just in 6 packs, I think you're going to want to lean towards Sin Shenron being your black leader and Majin Buu being your green leader. And then U7 Gohan and Videl, because they revolve around skillless packages, there's a good chance you'll pull enough skillless cards in 6 packs to be able to kind of play that specific strategy. Now, they do revolve around a unison, especially Videl, because your Great Sandman does search your skilllesses out of your deck, but you don't necessarily need that card or the unisons in order to play that strategy, but you do need X amount of skillless cards. U7 Gohan might be a little easier to pull off because he does get his draw off of comboing with any U7 card. It doesn't necessarily have to be a skillless U7. So if you pull a good amount of U7 cards along with the Gohan leader, that might be the route that you want to go. And Videl might be the most difficult to pull it off because she specifically needs, you know, 1-drop green skillless cards, and we're only going to get those Videls. So there's only a certain amount of Videls you're going to be able to pull in 6 packs, if any, right? So I just kind of wanted you guys to be aware of what's available in this set. If I were opening my packs, you know, that's how I would tier them. I would go Sin Shenron Black, or Xeno Sin Shenron Black, Majin Buu, and then I would interchange U7 Gohan with Videl, because I feel like if you pull a certain amount of cards, you might be able to run that strategy. But again, you know, take it for what it is. I mean, yeah, you're getting the Shenron Unison promo as part of the pre-release stuff, and you're getting your stamps and stuff like that. But it's all for good fun. It's all, you know, just to get your hands on some product a little earlier than usual. Street date is next week, so the set's full release will be Friday, August 13th. But if you're lucky enough to attend a pre-release event, I definitely recommend doing so, because it's just a fun time. I love playing sealed. I feel like sealed is a really good format. You know, it's not something that I would do all the time, but it's a really good format because it puts everybody on the same level. And it really separates like the deck builders from like just the players. Not that I'm like the greatest deck builder of all time, because I'm clearly not. But I do enjoy deck building. I do enjoy finding cool combinations to play with newer cards and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, it's just a fun time. You know, we are going to be streaming our pre-release, so definitely keep an eye out for that on Saturday. Our event's going to start around 7 p.m. If you're in the area and you feel like playing some sealed and coming down for some pre-release, you get some, you know, some packs early, set 14, you know, feel free to check out Gamer's Edge. The description will be, the link will be in the description box down below. If you're in the tri-state area, or if you're close enough, you know, to where it's like maybe a little bit of a drive, feel free to come through. We have a really good community of guys there. I haven't been in quite some time, so I'm really excited to get back and start playing again more consistently, especially now into set 14. So if you guys are also attending your pre-releases, you know, just keep an eye out for those kinds of cards. But it's a fun time. You know, it's a puzzle within a puzzle. You know, you have to put together a decent enough deck to be able to pilot through the whole tournament. And it also kind of, you know, you get to flex your brain muscle a little bit to see exactly how you're going to get there. So with that being said, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything. No counters, no combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.